Welcome everybody to our November Game of the Month no camera edition because for some reason mine doesn't work. Awesome. But today, this month, we were discussing Halo 3 ODST for the Xbox 360 and then of course Xbox One, Series X, and PC because of the Master Chief Collection. And joining me today, we've got the one and only Red Mage, who is represented by mushrooms, and then Sir Lowles is just toiling away in his command center.
Hello.
Hello.
It's an evil lair, not a command center.
Oh. I stand corrected. Okay. But,
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks again for joining me, guys. Always great to have you. Game of the Month has been going on for a long time, and I'm really appreciative of both of you being a part of it for so long.
Yeah, do what I can.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive in then. Halo 3 ODST. Why don't you both...
Before we get too much into it, I want to say I'm going to discuss it as a spin-off of Halo and not describe Halo as a franchise with it. So, these are my opinions of Halo 3 ODST aside from Halo, even if it is in Halo.
I mean, that's fair. But anyway, why don't we go ahead and start by just discussing history with the game. So, Red, if you want to lead us off, when did you first play it? Some original thoughts from when you first played it?
ODST I actually played after I played Halo 4 for the first time because I got the limited edition Halo 4 Xbox.
Oh, nice.
And by I got it, I mean my biology teacher got it and he had it in his classroom. And we played Halo 4 on it. And then after we co-op through Halo 4 in a biology classroom after school, over the course of about 3 or 4 days, we then went and did ODST because it was the biology teacher's favorite of the games.
Oh, nice.
So I was introduced to it as sort of that high level of praise as opposed to having no notion going into it, but I still enjoyed it back then.
Yeah, for sure.
See how I think about it now.
All right, Zachary, how about you?
So, I actually I pre-ordered it from Walmart to get the Johnson download code, and because I ordered it online, I had to wait 2 days for after that. However, I rented it like literally 5 minutes after my local video store opened. This was back in the day when video stores were still a thing. So
don't remind me.
My dad took the dinosaur for work, so I actually walked for about an hour to my local video Blockbuster to rent it for the day until my copy could come in via mail.
Nice. Yeah, so I went to a midnight release for this one. It snuck barely enough pre-orders in at our GameStop to warrant a midnight release, so I had the collector's edition with the ODST green controller.
Ooh.
It was pretty. It's a pretty controller, all things considered. But, yeah, I mean, I played through that game quite a lot back then, and yeah. I'll discuss more about that as we dive into the discussion here, but it sounds like most of us, well, I mean, all of us have played it relatively early on in its lifetime. About 3 years for Red, but I mean, even then, not too bad.
Relatively early.
Yeah,
I will say, we finished Halo 4, but we never did finish ODST.
Oh, that's fair.
I played it, but I never finished it. I don't actually at all remember that last mission. I think I might have finished it for the first time for the Game of the Month this month.
And what a way to have done it in then.
No, that was great.
All right, so just to give our audience at home a little clarification here, when we decided to do Halo 3 ODST, we decided to co-op it. So all three of us in the chat here did one session of co-oping it, and we got to New Mombasa Police Department, or was it Kikowani State? No.
We did the underwater...
Oni headquarters. That's the one we were doing. That's the one we stopped on.
Yeah.
For our first session. Then our second session, we had a fourth player, Volokar, join us for a bit, but Zachary had to leave on the second to last mission. And so I said, you know what, let's just go ahead and finish this. And so we did the second to last mission. And then on Coastal Highway, I had to put my kids to bed and ended up falling asleep in the room with the kids and left Red Mage and Volokar to beat it by themselves with my lump of a dead body just dragging them down.
Yeah. Every time we died, we respawned so far away from the fight.
Oh,
If we both died, it was pretty much guaranteed it was a revert.
Oh
was-
my gosh.
It wasn't too bad, but it was certainly something.
It's trouble. And that last mission, man. That last mission is literally like 5 times longer than any of the missions in the game combined.
I know, we were talking because we were like, oh wow, this is still going.
Yeah.
We were starting to get closer to the time where we would have to just cut it off regardless of whether we were done or not. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we finally finished it.
That's kind of why I had to stop there, because once you get into the underground section, you're just kind of in it for the long haul, you know? Like every other mission is so short, but then the game just gets so long all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's really got a pacing issue in that regard. That's probably one of my only real negatives about the game, is that the entire lead up to those last 2 levels, the levels can be beat in like 3 minutes, regardless of difficulty. And even not trying to rush them, like especially in 4-player co-op, you're just blowing through it because of it's not hard. It's just short. And so, I mean, the longest mission before the second to last is like, what, took us about 5 minutes?
Yeah, maybe. I think maybe like 6 or 7 because we kept dying doing absolutely ridiculous maneuvers, but we made it.
Yeah, and then the data hive level was like 18 minutes for us to beat, so just 2 after par score, and then Coastal Highway, that's like a guaranteed 26 to half an hour mission on normal playthrough standards, but what I put you guys through, it probably took you close to 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'd have to double check, but I don't think it was very quick, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a long level,
Ye-
the last one. But I will say that last level is pretty enjoyable, all things considered.
I think it genuinely took us about 45 minutes. I think that's right, because I think you left at about 7:30, and my final GGs was sent in the chat at 8:15. So
Sounds about right.
is that yeah? That's
Yeah.
math. We certainly finished it.
Did you finish the fight?
No, that's the other one.
Oh, okay.
That's the less good one. I said it here. Halo 3
Oh, gosh.
is the worst Halo 3 game.
There's the hot take of the episode.
I'm sorry, I don't like Halo 3. I've never liked Halo 3.
That's much more of the hot take. I would say there's probably plenty of people who would say ODST is on a similar level of good to,
Well, I guess,
or better than 3, rather.
yeah.
Well, they fixed the engine.
Yeah, like it just plays better. The guns are more fun.
You're still
there's no
slow as
equipment,
dirt, but at least you're an
which is
ODST to make
interesting.
up for it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense all the way throughout, I think.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah, that's kind of why I put a distinction though, because all the Halos, like they play different. So, you know, like this is my opinion of Halo ODST, not Halo as a franchise. So, yeah, I like ODST a lot. While I definitely enjoy Halo 3's campaign, I actually think ODST has some funner missions, if that, I don't know. I guess I do. I don't necessarily agree with the hot take, but you do bring a good point. It is pretty good. And I think it has a better right than, or it's better than it could have or could have been. Even though it might have been $60, that's just Microsoft being Microsoft. But for a spin-off game that took them about a year, it's very complete.
Well, if you
Yeah,
want to dive
absolutely.
into the price point, I don't think 60 for it at the time was really that terrible. Because you could say that ODST is a pretty full-featured expansion pack, so I mean, that's usually around a base price of 40, but at the same time, it also came with every single Halo 3 multiplayer map.
True.
All the DLC.
Every DLC on that second disc, and then you also need to remember that Firefight was also included as an entire separate mode, so I don't know, the $60 price tag on that one never bothered me, and I mean, I bought the collector's edition, so it was closer to 100 with the controller in it, so
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got my $60 worth out of it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't bother me personally because I do agree, but I know a lot of people think that, and yeah, I probably would have charged $40 if I was in charge, but again, it was, you did get your money's worth out of it at least, because you could play Firefight forever, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, Halo 3 multiplayer was still huge at the time that it came out, so all the maps being included was just a very easy way to get everyone
and also
back
very
on board.
Useful for LAN parties.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I would host LAN parties with that thing by myself. Everyone's like, "What should I bring?" It's like, "Just bring yourself. I got everything else." Yeah. You get good content though, and it made me like the idea of your character talking. I know that's been divisive with 4 and Chief, but as far as ODSTs go, there's no reason they can't talk,
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun telling the different stories and kind of seeing how they meet back up. Although there were some story elements that irritated me. I absolutely hate Buck and Dare's relationship. I feel that is completely unprofessional of Oni naval intelligence. But, I don't know.
Man.
For real, though, I feel like that relationship was just kind of unnecessary. Like, why did they have to be dating or something? And then, like, the Earth is being in...
Technically, they weren't dating more than a one-off night fling that she almost busted him for.
Fair. Still, though, like, there's one line that has made me laugh out loud ever since I first originally heard it. Like, at the end, spoilers alert for an old game, go play it already, when it's the final cutscene, and they're flying away in the Phantom, and there's like, I wonder if they found what they were looking for. And then Buck goes, "Well, what about you?" It's like, did you actually ask her that as she's watching her planet be destroyed? It's like, you're hitting on her as her planet's being destroyed. Yeah, great timing, Buck.
No better time than the present.
I guess, but it's just, when I originally heard that, it's like, yeah, but it's like, I for real, like, the first time I heard that, I was like, did he just for real say that?
Darn right he did.
He's not thinking with his brain. How about that?
He's thinking with the wrong brain.
I guess. So, that's all. Yeah, some of the relationships, I don't feel really hold up. The other ODSTs weren't as bad, but there were still little cringe moments, but nothing that I think is a detraction. Just kind of whiny,
Well, I mean, the whole vibe of ODST is kind of like a B movie. So it's all corny, it's all over the top, it's all cheesy. The game served as a fun semi-Firefly reunion in that respect as well.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, it's fun, but it does not take itself seriously in any regard most of the time, which is fine. Fair. Because the game's over, like, the missions are over so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that is due to knowing some of the stuff beforehand, like the streets especially. I think knowing where you're going... I mean, I guess it has to have the little nav point, but... Yeah. I don't know. I forgot it had the nav point when I was saying that to start, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The
Those streets are so curvy, though. The nav point,
you right to it.
Yeah. It kind of points you in the right direction, but it doesn't really help you a lot, because I kept going down wrong roads anyway.
And I mean, open world for Halo was very interesting at the time, and I mean, the only real reason Bungie did it was as a tech demo for Destiny.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
They did good with it, though. I dare say it's a better open world game than Halo Infinite was. You know, like because it had open world segments, but then it had nice linear missions that weren't Forerunner aesthetic all the time.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean,
yeah,
at least Halo Infinite did take place on a Forerunner installation to justify that, I guess? Question mark?
Yeah, as opposed to Halo 5, where
yeah, but Halo One,
it's a Forerunner. And
Halo
4
One
when
was
it's a
set
planet,
on a
it's Forerunner.
Forerunner installation as well, and that still had snow biomes, beaches, and deserts. So, no Halo, but we're not talking about Halo Infinite. Apparently, yeah.
He's gonna go off about it. Well, if we just keep poking him, he'll go off about it. It's gonna be good.
Let's not do that. Let's stay on topic. The open world though is really interesting. They did a really good job with that.
I think it serves as a good tech demo.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's good tech demo. Playing through it, especially in co-op with people who know where to go for those streets missions, it felt less like an open world and more like those missions in Halo 5 where you can't put your gun up and you have to talk to Halsey 3 times.
Fair.
Just
Though,
for like those a very like, I mean, you do shoot enemies, so it's not quite the same, but it feels very like, oh, this is just a short little in-betweener to the next mission.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but you're just describing
feels
ice.
just as linear.
Yeah, but that's just like what you're describing is when we were playing and just looking and ice is bunny hopping all the way through.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
true.
That's how I was playing too. I was trying to get to the nav point as fast as I could. I mean, I guess maybe if I don't know. I didn't take in the atmosphere a ton. Not that it wasn't good, but it just didn't feel. I don't know.
It didn't feel like worth the effort and time
I feel like
during that
have
playthrough.
more fun looking through outskirts, out of bounds than I did through streets, just because it was like, oh, I don't know. It just it feels like a Final Fantasy X map where like there's random blockages and then like it continues on the other side, but then there's like a tiny strip that you can go through, you know?
Yeah.
But you just don't have the mini map. But you have a better camera because it's first person.
Yeah.
So trade-offs, I suppose.
Yeah. My problem probably with the open world is that like for a stealth game, there's not actually like stealth, you know? Like it would have been cool if you could like shoot an enemy, but because your weapon's actually silenced, other enemies don't hear it, you know?
Yeah. Some mechanics
like,
that could have been fleshed out.
I do agree with that. Like it is a fun overworld in my opinion still, but you know, like traversing it could get annoying at times. And then you only get those supply depots like at the end.
Yeah. And you only get them by finding the audio logs, which is a section I really wanted to touch on because while the story of ODST is really cool to begin with, because I mean, the whole premise of it is that you wake up, you have no idea what happened to any of your crew, and you're investigating. The whole game is an investigation into what happened. And that's what the levels you're playing are, is what they went through to get to the end point where you finally meet up with them. And along the way, the superintendent AI is trying to show you another thing that happened in the city between the girl Sadie and all those other people. Don't really remember their names, but like it's just a whole other side story that's really well fleshed out and really ties well into the actual game if you do get all the audio logs before you make it to Data Hive.
It's actually a perfect way to make a side story or like a story that people that care about the lore would care about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's not the whole story, the whole package deal is there. You play through ODST without a single audio log and you have a good time with the boys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You save the boys. But then there's the whole, like...
You kind of get a
Five Nights at
secret...
Freddy's level of, like, the lore on the inside is really cool and matters, but the game has its own allure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you are willing to invest in this side story, it's not just a little badge like, oh, you found all the audio logs. Like, I dare say you get, even if it's not hard, you get a boss fight that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Yep.
And it's just kind of that whole like, now that you've heard the story, like this guy he means so much more than he does if you have no idea what's going on otherwise.
And I love the way that they handled that in the game as well. Again, spoiler alert, in Data Hive you run into a Marine that's trying to find something in the lab. And if you don't have all the audio logs, he dies to buggers. And if you do have all the audio logs, you end up having to kill him yourself because he's a douchebag.
Yeah. So that's
Because he knows you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty fun
Perfect.
because, and even if you save him, you don't have to go into that room with him. You can just let him go in there, and I don't think he comes out.
Yeah.
So you have to, in order to trigger this event, you have to follow him through the door he unlocks, and only then do you get the conclusion to the story.
Yep. And it's
You
pretty
have to
intense.
care.
And I love the little snippet, like the little quote or sound bites Virgil plays, like when he dies.
Yeah.
Like if he
Crime
dies before you have all the
doesn't
audio
pay.
logs, Virgil's just like, crime doesn't pay.
Yeah, but also if you so like if he dies to buggers, you still get that crime doesn't pay, and you can kind of, it's like, Virgil, why would you say that? But then when you defeat the corrupt guy yourself, he still says crime doesn't pay, but then he also goes, good citizens do their part. So he's essentially praising you for killing this guy.
Yep.
Yep.
But
perfect.
it was a good touch. I think it's one of the times where I think all my viewers know by now how much I hate collectathon aspects to games, but this is one of the times where it was like actually well implemented because it does give you that added story and lore.
And a mongoose.
Yep. So
Yeah.
when it's implemented in
Yeah,
that way,
it
I don't
is.
mind it. But I mean, finding
it
100
is,
feathers in Jerusalem, that's less fun for any old school Assassin's Creed fans out there.
Well, and I think also the difference too is they're not just, as we've discussed, they're not just collectibles for collectibles' sake. Like each one is a part of the story.
Yep.
And it is a complete story.
Yep.
So it's not just like, hey, feathers, and then some guy's like, oh, you got feathers, here's a badge.
Actually, correction, it's flags. Flags. Assassin's Creed 2 had the feathers. Flags.
Okay.
Templar flags.
I thought you were making a joke of Banjo combined with Assassin's Creed.
Oh gosh,
And
I
I was
don't
just letting that roll.
That
I
sounds
thought
like
that
a
was
nice
I thought it was
nightmare.
Dude.
a multi-layered joke there.
I still can't believe I 100%ed all the 360 achievements for Banjo Kazooie for that very first game of the month. Ugh.
That's
Sucks to
crazy.
be
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah. But
Sorry,
yeah,
Banjo fans, you're a breed your own.
Anyway.
Again, the story is good. The collectibles are good. The weapons are also fairly interesting. Even though most of the sandbox is the same, I have to admit, ever since they added that scoped SMG, I just feel like every Halo game needs it. I think it's such a good starting weapon because it's kind of like, not powerful, but it's scoped, so it's kind of like a less BS pistol.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a great damage dealer. You don't want to hold on to it, but I feel like it's a really good starter weapon.
Yeah,
It's
it
perfect.
doesn't absolutely destroy you like the BR does, but it's not as worthless as the AR normal SMG.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's like it's good to start a battle with, and I'm really glad they ported it to Halo 3 multiplayer in MCC.
Yeah, wasn't it in
Yeah.
Halo 2 Anniversary as well?
Yes,
Yep.
it was.
It was also in Halo 5.
Oh
Was
yeah.
it? I don't remember Halo 5 too well because I've
Well,
only played it
that's fair.
once.
The
It wasn't in the
multiplayer had it.
campaign.
I don't think the campaign had SMGs, but the multiplayer had SMGs,
Yeah.
and they had all sorts of scopes.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
could put the carbine scope on it, if I recall,
Yeah.
which is just weird. But
But yeah.
It's good.
I still love that it was silenced, and I love that we got a silenced pistol variant that was just so ridiculously OP as well. Like, I loved that those were just your two go-tos. You drop the SMG for a plasma pistol sometimes, most of the time too, but like the SMG could tear through brute shields so quick.
Yeah.
It was perfect. You didn't really... It was great to play through co-op because without iron, because when you respawned, you spawned with those two weapons and some grenades. And it was like, sometimes you just kill yourself to become more powerful.
Yeah.
You know, you evolve forms. You were like, oh, I just had a plasma rifle or a plasma pistol and a mauler that were out of ammo. Now all of a sudden I have the best weapons in the game that aren't power weapons.
Yeah, the weapon sandbox was fun though, especially since lore-wise this takes place after the Covenant Schism, which really doesn't make sense because it's like right after frickin' Prophet of Regret jumps to Delta Halo, so the Schism hadn't even happened yet, but you're playing as Buck like 30 minutes after they jump to Delta Halo, and the brutes are already killing all the elites on Earth. Which is like completely lore inaccurate, but
yeah, that is actually something that really I would say is an actual complaint I have. It's like you really should have fought elites, you know. You really should have fought elites, you know.
They did a mutiny on Earth, and that's part of what caused the schism. Yeah, it was the beginning.
Yeah, and it's like, sure, you could create some stupid reason, you know, like, oh, the Prophet of Regret told the Bruce to do it once he jumped. But it's like, no, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Like you said, the schism hadn't happened yet. You know, maybe when the rookie woke up, maybe something jumped back to Earth. But I mean, like you said, you're playing as Buck right after the drop, and already the elites are dead.
Yep.
No, that doesn't make sense.
It's not lore accurate, but whatever. But because of that, it's fascinating that you won't find any normal plasma rifles throughout the game. You only find the brute plasma rifle.
So that's rare.
Just an interesting little attention to detail that they gave the game there. There's no elites. There's no standard plasma rifles.
Yeah, a small detail. Like, this is pure artistic nonsense, so this isn't an actual complaint, but like, you're a human, so when you pick up Covenant weapons, really they should be like bigger in your hands, because it's like, you know, this brute's holding a plasma rifle, you kill him and then you pick it up and it perfectly fits in your hand. Like, that thing should easily be twice as big.
Maybe not twice, but a bit bigger, definitely, because a Spartan is like 7 feet tall. Spartan 2, that is.
Yeah, it makes sense when you're Master Chief why the weapons look normal sized for you, but you know, like that's just one of those like purest artistic touches I might have done, like perhaps make the Covenant weapons slightly bigger.
That's probably something that would have happened if they had more than a year and $20 to work on it.
Yeah,
probably.
But that's just pure artistic nitpick.
The elites too, honestly, probably. They probably didn't feel... They probably... Knowing Bungie, the elites were probably coded in the stupidest possible way in Halo 3, where they would have had to redo it all to put them in ODST, and they just didn't wanna.
Yeah, I actually think...
and that's why
all elites in Halo 3 are your allies, so they would have had to reprogram the engine to make them enemies again.
And it's not even that hard, though, because if you betray the Marines enough, they jump on you, too, don't they? So it's not...
I think it's just a behavior thing, because when they added elites as enemies in Firefight to MCC, when they test drove that, the elites actually behaved very wonky. So I just think that they would have had to program better behaviors for the elites, and they just didn't have that time.
I'm also wondering if it was a difficulty thing, because elites are much harder to kill than brutes, even the shielded brutes.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, elites are a much higher class of enemy, and you're supposed to be an ODST, so you're supposed to be the best of what the human had to offer, but humanity still couldn't put up a fight against the Covenant because they were just so outclassed.
Yeah.
And so having elites be your main enemy and you're just blowing through hundreds of them throughout this campaign, it's like, Okay, why are we losing this war?
Yeah.
So, I mean, from
yeah,
that
all those are fair
aspect, it
points.
makes more sense to me. Because the
It,
brutes
those are fair
always
points,
were.
but I still wish.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, brutes were always much weaker enemies to fight, even when they gave them shields in Halo 3.
Yeah, they're just some apes. Yeah,
Yep.
just some monkeys.
Just kill them apes.
But yeah, I definitely think it's worth the money. You know, it's a
Oh, yeah.
good campaign overall, and I guess we could also talk about Firefight. Where I didn't really play Firefight much, but I did those VidMaster challenges. The Firefight one was a pain.
You did the firefight one with me before the server shut down just a little bit ago.
No, but I did it like I originally did it in 09 when the game first came out.
Nice.
So, yeah, but yes, we did do it again. It was easier doing it with you, but the little stupid teenager me and the randos online that when we tried it, it's like it took several attempts. It was hard.
Yeah. That was the last achievement I needed for ODST, and so when they announced those servers were shutting down, I was like, please, someone help me.
Yeah.
So, managed to 100% ODST before the servers went down, so that was nice.
There
Rest
you go.
in peace.
That's how you get through it.
No, I'm glad the game's part of MCC, though. Like, that was a great...
Oh, yeah.
And they gave it to people as a apology for the game launching in the state it did, and I had a blast going through it again through MCC, because, I mean, it looked really good compared to the 360 version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was made for a more powerful console than the 360.
I
Halo
mean,
3 was even too, I think, in some ways.
I
Launch title, it always looked good.
I question Bungie's optimization of Halo games on the 360, especially after Halo 4 released.
That's fair.
Because
Halo 4 looks so good.
Halo 3 ran at 540p, so just your standard PAL resolutions. Wasn't great. And ODST, I believe, also ran in 540p, and then Halo Reach ran at 540p with heavy motion blur. So
nauseating motion blur.
Yes,
by the way.
Yes. I will never play Reach on the 360 again after it came to MCC. Like, holy crap!
It looks so good.
So clear, so clean.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole reason was just because it ran at such an awful frame rate as well. Like, Halo Reach would dip a lot, but motion blur did a decent enough job of covering that at the expense of looking awful.
Expensive, making it completely unbearable to play. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It plays good. The fixes they made on the engine are definitely evident, even in just the short playthrough of the campaign.
Oh yeah,
it's noticeably better.
Especially if you spend those hours in Firefight, especially in Firefight where you get vehicles.
Yeah.
The vehicle aspect of the engine updates was so massive.
It's noticeable.
Yeah.
Definitely. In that last mission.
Yeah, and that atmosphere is top tier. Marty again killed it with the score.
Absolutely.
It is, it is so good. So pretty.
That saxophone, man.
Oh,
it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's a good game. Good music.
Yeah.
I like it. Rank it highly.
Yeah.
I rate it,
I do wish that they had used better facial animation tech and texturing for like the character models and stuff. Like, I feel like that's one area the game lacks. But as a whole, like, it's so insignificant compared to the rest of the experience.
I think a personal lack is, like, again, the lack of tank sections. It's like, Halo games tend to only have, like, one tank run. and it really irritates me. Halo 1 only had one section with the tank. Granted, Halo 2 and 3 had several, but then ODST goes back to 1, and then Halo Reach goes back to 1.
Dude, I don't even remember the tank and Reach. That's so sad.
Yeah, like you get it for like 10 minutes at the end of the game. That Scorpion Justice. But yeah, that's not really, again, budget DLC game. So for what it is, it's definitely a good game worth a play. I personally wouldn't put it over any of the mainline games. I don't know. Maybe it's a content thing. I know you would.
Yeah, easy. This is easily better than a good amount of the mainline games.
I disagree, but
Better than
that's why it's a discussion. You know?
Oh yeah.
Okay, now we got to do it. We got to do it real quick. Give us your.
Oh no.
We're just gonna give us your ranking of Bungie Halo titles. There we go.
Just the campaign or all of the...
Just campaign.
Just campaigns.
Just campaign for now. I mean, nothing will ever beat Halo 2 multiplayer. So, I mean, why would we even
True.
disgrace it?
It's true. Just the campaigns. Oh, not terrible. I have to write this down. I have to look at them.
So CE 2, 3, ODST, and Reach.
Okay, so while you do that, my tier of Bungie era campaigns is it's close, but I have to give it Halo 2, Halo 1, Halo Reach, and then now that I kind of think about it, probably Halo ODST, then Halo 3.
That's what I just wrote down.
Great minds think alike.
It's
There you
exactly the same thing. It's
Yeah.
definitely close, though. I mean, ODST and Halo 2 are probably, if I'm rating it on a out of 10 scale, I don't think any of those games are under a 9.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Halo 3
So,
might be, though, for me.
I guess I do have to omit my previous statement, because when I was thinking about, before I was thinking about it, it's like, nah, Halo 3 is pretty good. But then I started thinking about, and I was like, maybe I do enjoy ODST. Like, I still enjoy Halo 3's campaign, but as far as pure enjoyment goes, ODST probably pulls it out. So,
Yeah.
yep, that is my tier list of the Bungie era campaigns.
All right. All
What's
right.
your
How about-
ranking?
Yeah,
All
what's
right,
yours?
So for me, I'm gonna go CE, just because of its crazy impact in my life. So I mean, there's nothing that'll ever take that nostalgia away from me.
Sure.
Then ODST, followed closely by Halo 2, or no, wait, no, I gotta go with Reach as my third, followed by 2. Then about 700 spaces down would be 3.
Last mission of 2 did you in, didn't it?
Last mission of 2 and the cliffhanger ending, and then following that up by watching the documentary that came on the limited edition, making me realize how much I hated Bungie. That's what did me in.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
me, there's
That's
just
fair.
like, part of me enjoys Halo 1's campaign more, but Halo 2's campaign is just, it feels so epic. You know, that's probably why it leaped ahead a little bit. But, you know, even then, it's close. You know, like they're both 10 easy.
Oh yeah.
Halo 2's the first game that I ever, like the first Halo game that I ever like played. I played
Yeah,
some of
agreed.
CE. I watched my uncle and mom play some of Halo CE, but I played Halo 2
Oh yeah.
like through myself first.
Oh yeah.
I remember, bringing every vehicle as far as you can, sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's where it's got.
Flying
for
the
me.
Banshee into the final boss fight.
Yep.
CE speedruns will always be somewhere in there,
Yep.
But
I kind of love Halo 1 physics jank, not gonna lie. Like,
It's
they're
so good.
terrible physics, but they're so fun and how bad
It's-
they
it's
are.
a beautiful kind of terrible. With
Yep.
Yeah.
like hog launches and
The
stuff.
fun kind of terrible.
Nade launches of any kind. It's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, the tire bumped your toe? Dead.
Yep.
Reach's story is
Reach's story was
based on pure story, Reach is probably first.
Yeah.
Like just literally like watching the cutscenes and like listening to the important in between dialogue in the missions. From watching the movies, Halo Reach is probably first.
I have plenty to criticize about how they handled some of the dialogue choices of Reach, but I mean, no, the game.
I mean,
you knew exactly how the game ended, and they still made it impactful somehow. Like that was what made Reach important.
Yeah. My only critique with Reach is I'm one of those nerds that read the book first, so
I did too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I tend to not really care as much as other people do, but I do kind of wish they spent more time trying to make the two mesh better than just outright say, no, the book's not canon. Like,
well, they redid the book.
Yeah. They did it on purpose so that you didn't know what was going to happen. Even though you know what's going to happen, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's
they
like
redid
Final
the
Fantasy
book with a
VII Remake.
re-release. Special edition that tied in more of the Spartan 3 stuff, if I remember right.
Yeah. It's perfect.
But I mean, here's the thing
ODST is
about...
probably second in story, though.
That's the thing about the book, though. I mean, it came out before the original Xbox launched. They released that book to give players an understanding of what was happening in Halo CE, because CE starts with you running from Reach.
Yeah.
Oh, I do get invisible internet brownie points though, because right after they released the reveal trailer for Halo Reach, and everyone was speculating, and I was like, they must be Spartan 3s, and people in the Bungie forums were like, no, and then this, that, and there's like, yeah, there's Spartan 3s. Like, told you.
You were wrong though, because George is a Spartan too, so it's actually that they're a mix.
Shut up,
and since
I'm
you
right.
didn't say they're a mix, you're wrong.
That's true.
But yes, like
that's the retort you get.
Yeah, take that random thread from 2010. I was right.
But we could talk about Reach safely in our ODST discussion here, because Buck was also introduced in Halo Reach.
Oh yeah,
in the canon timeline. Obviously, ODST came out first, but they did tie Reach, and Nathan Fillion played Buck. Like, they had him play Buck in Reach as that one optional thing in the Alexandria mission that you could get.
Yeah.
And speedrunners despise him and call him Buck Luck.
Oh, yeah. But look, there's no way. Right?
He was also a firefight voice again in Reach, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yep.
So even if that's just a cameo, that's still a Buck, you know.
But it was a cool tie-in, because it made it so after you played ODST, you knew who this character was, and then Reach comes out and you get more of a look into what he went through. It's like, oh crap, he saw it all. Like,
yeah, especially New Alexandria.
And
like,
that is why he wasn't phased when he was hitting on Dare at the end of the mission. He's like, I saw this. This is just like Reach. This is fine.
Yeah.
Maybe this
Can
is
I
like
hit on you now?
That's true.
Yeah, he probably was like, oh man, I've seen this before. This turns me on. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe.
But then lore-wise, they also had Buck go on to become a Spartan 4, which was just a really cool tie-in too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you may think of ODST as this throwaway title, but it has such deep connections to all of the main lore points now. Like, it's pretty cool, and it's pretty essential.
Wonder when they bring back engineers in the 343 era.
That's true.
Outside of Halo Wars 2.
Yeah.
And then 343 killed the rookie. I will never forgive them.
Dude, did you read that book?
No, because I know they killed the rookie.
You know who killed the rookie?
I do know, and that's why I won't read the stupid book, because it's stupid.
Yep. Good old Mickey. Spoiler alert, Mickey gets the rookie killed. Stupid old Mickey. I was saying that during the entire playthrough. I was like, dude, I want to just go commit suicide when I'm playing as Mickey, so that way Rookie gets to live.
Yeah, for real. Because he doesn't even die because of Mickey. He dies because of Mickey.
Yep.
Mickey, it's not just an arrogance thing. Mickey kills the rookie intentionally, directly. Like, you bad person. I don't like you.
Yeah, that was an intense book, man. That's
Well, thank you.
That's
I think I even got it as a gift, and I still didn't read it. I was like, no.
It's a good book though, because it ties together June from Halo Reach to Buck and the Spartan 4 program and all that too. So like it's an important book lore wise too. Like see, that's what's crazy. You think of ODST as this throwaway little side off game, and then it's like, no, it has such lasting lore effects across the entire franchise. Like, it's insane.
Like the monkey people at the end of the ending. The
well, and also the dissatisfaction.
What's the lore implication there?
Oh my gosh.
That Buck is a monkey.
Buck.
He's yeah, but yeah, even like the fact that the engineers hate the Covenant, you know, that they're not for the Covenant, they just can't escape it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a even more real way than the grunts, you know, because there's some grunts who are just bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
But the engineers are just there.
Yeah. And I think it's fun that they were finally able to introduce them into canon in such a way, because they were supposed to be in the original Halo.
Yep.
Yeah, fun fact, they actually have models in the game. They just aren't attached to anything.
Yep.
So, fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else I can say about ODST. It's, you know, for a little spin-off game that they did because they were contractually obligated to do so, you know, it definitely punches above its weight. You know, it's got good, it comes with the multiplayer for Halo 3, it introduced Firefight, and it introduced a different way of telling stories in Halo with the fact that the characters actually talk. And some of it's even situational, like the Marines, when you play as Buck, you know, you can talk to them and Buck will actually talk back. But if you just walk past the Marines, you know, Buck doesn't say anything. So just kind of nice little additions.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. It's like I mean, I guess I did put it second last, I guess, in my list of Bungie games, but it's more of a testament to the strength of the games despite Bungie's incompetence than anything else.
I love that term.
Really good game. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I probably finished it for the first time now, but I definitely have urge to replay it already and want to try to go through and achievement hunt it or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, now you can be shown the Easter eggs, because, you know, when we were flying the Banshees, I was wondering, like, do we want to take 10 seconds to go find Marty, or do we just want to go through it? And then I think we all died and we're waiting for Ice to get to the checkpoint. So
yeah. Then Then we all died and was desperately trying to spawn everyone in, and instead just flew to the end.
Yeah.
Very confused about what to do.
And that's fine.
And then Phantom got stuck twice.
Yeah, it did. Game isn't still without glitches, that's for sure.
It's certainly a Bungie game.
Yep. Yeah.
Certainly a game, right? It's not really a game without glitches.
Definitely a game. But yeah, for me, I look back on the original 2009 release. It was just a fantastic improvement over Halo 3's engine to me. I loved playing it. I loved playing it co-op. Gears of War 2 Horde mode had already prepared me for what Firefight was going to be like, but even then it was still different than what I expected, and we played that for hours. And then, of course, the Halo 3 multiplayer disc. I already owned all the expansions, but I put it in I gave it to another friend so they could play with us with the DLC finally. And so it was just this really cool all-in-one package that I really appreciated back in the day, because that was when I was still pretty enamored with Halo as a whole, despite Bungie's shortcomings.
And being able to play as Sergeant Johnson was a really nice
yep, I did have Johnson. And then, of course, the music was just an absolute phenomenal addition to the Halo's repertoire there. The open world was fun enough to explore. I didn't really like the layout too much, but it justified itself well enough with the side story, and even though it was just meant to be a glorified tech demo they could shop around to publishers for Destiny, like, I think it still worked out relatively okay. But
Yeah.
I think it's better than anything I've played of Destiny. That's for sure.
yeah.
But
Oh man. But the pacing issues, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like again, all of the missions leading up to the final 2 are just so ridiculously short by comparison.
hey guys, I'm 15 minutes late to the co-op sesh. Well, sorry, you can only play the last 2 missions with us, but don't worry, it'll be an hour.
Yeah, exactly. It's honestly what it feels like sometimes. But I mean, they're fun to replay, and part of that does come down to the fact that they're short, because you could just blow through them pretty quick and be like, oh, that was fun. All right, cool. Especially in co-op. I mean, when you're playing it solo legendary, it can be a bit challenging if you're not, good. But in co-op, it's essentially like, no matter what you do, you're going to make it through this, because especially on MCC, the game has instant respawns all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Instant respawn if somebody's safe was crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like
It was just so easy.
You would just teleport to where your teammate was, and it's like, oh, I guess I died.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
I would spawn still
now.
firing. Yeah, I would spawn still firing my weapon. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I shot you and Red plenty in the back when I just spawned behind you. Like, oh wait, I was fighting a brute. What?
I thought you were just letting me know I was there.
I'm here.
Like, hey, I'm here. I respawned. I was like, oh, okay, hi.
Yeah, it was something. I think that's a glitch with the MCC version, because I don't remember that being a thing on the 360. But even still, I don't really care. Doing the VidMaster challenges was also just a fun memory for me. Doing Endure and the other coastal highway one that I don't remember what its name is. So I have a lot of good memories with ODST, and I think the fact that you can still play it in an enhanced version through MCC now, with the experience mostly intact, because they added Firefight into MCC finally. The vehicle caches don't work as well in MCC, unfortunately, but again, it's just kind of whatever, considering the streets missions are just kind of there.
I would say the improvements they've made to Firefight have really upped the enjoyment. Like now it's not just 8 players, but they added new netcode. It's like that was not necessary, but I'm very glad they did it.
Oh, that's good.
343 did a lot of work to build up the goodwill that they definitely lost when MCC first released.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Man.
that's good. That's good for them. MCC is good now.
Yeah.
ODST in it is good.
Yeah.
It. I don't know. It's scuffed in some ways, but I don't think it's any more. I think it's a good game. At the end of the day, you look at it and you're like, I could play that again.
Yep.
Sitting on the shelf.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, the disc that came with the Halo 3 maps, besides just being a relatively good deal for the time, just for game preservation purposes, is really cool. Similar to the Halo 2 map pack disc.
Yeah, exactly.
So
because
it's great.
You can't buy those maps digitally anymore. Like the only way you can gain access to those maps for 360 players is through that disc now, if you didn't already have them.
Yeah, and now you can. I mean, obviously it's a small thing considering MCC and everything else in the world, but now you can still have a LAN party with your 4 360s you have in the garage.
Yeah, and I mean, there's plenty of people that
Halo
do it.
3 DLC maps.
Yep, plenty of people that do it.
Absolutely, no reason not to if you have the ability. Really, it's just a different vibe to hold that 360 controller and play through a Halo game than it is.
Oh yeah.
And on MCC.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
although if you're looking for the eye candy.
Yeah, for me, honestly, if you could get MCC through Game Pass or just buy it through Steam or on Xbox for a relatively good price, it's like definitely a game that I think justifies the purchase alone despite the rest of the package. And when you think of the package as a whole, it's like, okay, if you like Halo at all, why don't you own this already? But yeah, for anyone that might not own it somehow, ODST alone, I think, is still worth it. And that's saying something.
Yeah. I agree.
I big agree.
Yeah, and just wish list on Steam. When it goes on sale, you can get all of them for like $20.
Dude, I got it for 10.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, it's getting real cheap now.
I bought it.
10-year-old game.
I bought it when it was brand new on launch day, and they gave me ODST as a free gift, and then Reach finally came out for it too, and then I still bought it on Steam for $10 when it went on sale for $10.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got it on Steam when they released it on PC, bought the bundle for, I think it was 40, and I think it's still worth it. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, we were saying ODST. I think ODST was worth $60 when it released. I mean, especially if you do like the streets missions, that adds so much time if you're just looking around. Thinking about me playing Halo 2, the original Halo 2, trying to push every vehicle as far as I could in the mission and doing whatever I could with every section of every mission, I would have spent so much time on the streets. The Peach's Castle of ODST.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Oh yeah.
It's perfect for the game.
Yeah.
The streets is perfect for what ODST is built as.
Lots of Easter eggs and stuff to find too. That's the other fun thing about it. But yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much sums it up for me. Like, there's definitely some nitpicking issues that you could go after on it in regards to its pacing, character design, audio, dialogue decisions. But overall, it still stands the test of time to me when we played through it again. I haven't played through it since it got released on MCC like 9 years ago. And we played through it this time, and I was like, dude, this is still a blast. So it holds up.
Agreed.
Good. Yeah, I mean, hard to sell. It's a 14-year-old game at this point.
Yep.
Hard to tell. Even obviously we're playing MCC, so it's not 540p, so it's a little harder to tell than it would be otherwise. But I mean, even if I let it up on the 360, I'd feel like it's much newer than that playing through it. The way it plays, it's a good game.
Yep. But let's go ahead and call it here then. Thank you once again to Red Mage and Sir Lols for joining us on our November Game of the Month discussion. We'll be back in December with a game of unknown decision because we haven't talked about it yet. So, as always, if you're interested in joining in on Game of the Month, you can join us in the Discord and vote for it. Let us know in the comments what games you'd like to see us discuss and other various things like that. So, thank you again, guys.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
It's great to talk games.
Indeed it is. But we'll see you all back next month.